I think I stand about as much chance of dying in front of a firing squad or in a gas chamber as you do being killed in a plane flight home. Let's hope you don't.
Today at age 32, Theodore Robert Bundy stood in a Florida courtroom and listened to a judge describe his pending death in the Florida electric chair.
It is further ordered that on such scheduled date that you be put to death by a current of electricity, and such current of electricity shall continue to pass through your body until you are dead.
Theodore Bundy was executed at 7:16 a.m. in the electric chair at Florida State Prison.
People held up signs and they chanted, "Burn, Bundy, burn! Burn, Bundy, burn!" They lit up fireworks, they lit up sparklers. Everyone couldn't wait for Ted Bundy to be electrocuted in the electric chair in Florida. The crowd cheered in the early morning hours of January 24th, 1989, when serial killer Theodore Ted Bundy was pronounced deceased. In my opinion, Ted Bundy put the face on the words serial killer. He is the most infamous serial killer that has ever lived. 20 confirmed victims. He confessed to 30 victims. He is suspected of killing 36 victims. Only 5 survived his brutal attack. Now, just last week on April 1st, 2026, another victim has been confirmed to be a victim of Ted Bundy. How did police crack this case after over 50 years? Let's find out right now. Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrico, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. And as always, thank you all for joining me on this Wicked Wednesday evening as we discuss another true crime case. How are y'all doing on this Wicked Wednesday evening? Thank y'all once again for joining me. I hope y'all are all having a great night and a great week so far. I hope you all had a very happy Easter and spent it with friends and family, because spending time with friends and family and the people that you love is the most important part of Easter. Now, let's get into this video. Y'all, I thought we were done with the name Ted Bundy. I thought we had zipped it, locked it, and put it in the pocket. But oh no, Theodore Ted Bundy has made another appearance after more than 50 years. Yes, over 50 years. Just last week, Ted Bundy has been named the murderer of another beautiful young teenager. The case is closed, his DNA matched, and now this family can have the closure that they need. As a lot of you may know, Theodore Ted Bundy murdered multiple women from 1974 to 1978. He was going from state to state to state to state in a domino effect, murdering dozens of women, one after the other. It was said in some cases he murdered more than one woman a day. That's how crazy he was. And no one would have suspected Ted Bundy. Why? He was sweet. He was charming. He was good looking. He was a law student. He was very, very well educated. Everyone loved Ted Bundy. But in reality, he was a stone cold killer, a monster in disguise. And get this, Ted Bundy didn't just escape jail once. He escaped jail twice. And when he did escape jail, he didn't say, you know what? I'm going to be a good person. I'm not going to do any more killing. I'm going to be a well-rounded citizen. Oh no. When Ted Bundy got out of jail, well, when he escaped jail, he killed more and more women. He was a horrible person. And now that another teenage girl has been a confirmed victim of Ted Bundy, I don't want to sit here and talk about Ted. I want to get to know his victim. I want to know what happened to her, what kind of girl she was. And I'm going to explain all of that to y'all in this video. And I'm going to tell y'all how the police finally cracked the case of this beautiful young teenage girl. Laura Ann Amy was born on August 21st, 1957 in Leahy, Utah. She was sweet, kind, loving, and compassionate. She loved all animals, especially horses. She also loved spending time with her younger siblings. She was just a good, sweet girl. In the fall of 1974, Laura was a 17-year-old rebellious teenager. You know how teenagers are around that age. They all think they know everything. They're all very rebellious. Laura was staying with friends at the time. And on the night of October 31st, 1974, Laura was attending a Halloween party. Shortly after midnight, Laura wanted to go to the convenience store, buy a few things, and she planned to hitchhike home. Now, I'm going to pause right here. I know a lot of you are thinking, well, she shouldn't be hitchhiking. Hitchhiking isn't safe. It's not a good thing to do. However, in the 60s and 70s, especially late 60s, early 70s, hitchhiking was a form of transportation. A lot of people would hitchhike home and no one thought anything. No one was going to open up that car door and be like, this person may be a serial killer. And the driver didn't look at their passenger and say, this person may be a serial killer. Nobody was throwing bodies anywhere. No bodies were being found on the side of the roads or in the hills, in the mountains. None of that was happening. So people were hitchhiking and getting home just fine. Look at Dennis Wilson. He was one of the Beach Boys. He picked up one of Charles Manson's girls in the late 60s as she was hitchhiking on Sunset Boulevard. It was a very normal thing until the mid to late 70s when girls were disappearing left and right. But why? Who was making all these girls disappear? And why did people finally realize that hitchhiking wasn't safe? You are getting into a car with someone that you don't know, that you've never met, you know nothing about them. Kind of the same thing with Uber these days, but Uber does a background check, so we're not as scared. But back then, hitchhiking was a normal thing to do. And Laura and Amy decided to hitchhike that night. However, Laura and Amy was never seen again. The day before Thanksgiving, November 27th, 1974, a man named Ray, along with his date, were hiking in American Fork Canyon, Utah, when they noticed a VW Bug speed up the trail. They were worried that their car was going to be broken into, so they walked back up the trail to check on their car to make sure no one was breaking into it. And that is when they noticed the body of a young teenage girl tangled up in the brush. Ray rushed to the ranger, told the ranger what he saw. He thought he had just found the body of a missing girl named Debbie Kent. Debbie Kent had went missing around November 8th. He thought this is the body that he just found. However, on November 28, 1974, dental records confirmed the body belonged to 17-year-old Laura Ann Amy. No one had even known that Laura was missing at the time, as she was very rebellious. She was staying with friends. She would go from home to home to home, but this was confirmed to be Laura's body. Laura was only 17 years old. She had been SA'd. She had been so badly beaten that her face was unrecognizable, and she had been strangled with her own stockings and was found nude. Now, when I watched the interview with Laura's sister said that Laura was 6'1", but at the autopsy, she measured 5'11". Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if Ted took off a limb. I don't know exactly what went on with that situation, but her height was 6'1", but they measured her at 5'11". And they also said that Laura was believed to have died the week prior to being found, which means Laura was held captive for weeks. Now, that is scary because, as we all know, Ted Bundy was into necrophilia. He would like to go have intercourse with his victims days and weeks after he murdered them. So, was he doing this with Laura? Was he going back that day to have intercourse with Laura's deceased body? Who knows? But we do know that Ted Bundy was disgusting. He was sick. He was a monster. And he was thought for a very long time to be Laura Ann Amy's killer. As I mentioned earlier, Debbie Kent went missing around November 8th, 1974. So a lot of people thought this was Debbie Kent. However, Laura Ann Amy was the third of 5 teenage girls to disappear in the area. Police believe that the cases were all connected. However, the perpetrator was unidentified until now. Ted Bundy confessed to murdering Laura Ann Amy in 1974. However, police couldn't confirm it. Ted said that he essayed and murdered Laura Ann Amy and that he performed rituals on the dead bodies, including Laura's body and another victim, Michelle Smith. He said he would wash their hair and apply makeup after he murdered them. Now, how sick is he? How disgusting is this man to do all of this to their bodies after they are deceased? You disrespect them, torture them, SA them, murder them, and then after they are deceased, you disrespect their bodies all over again? What is wrong with this man? He is on a whole nother level of crazy and disgusting. He is an evil monster. I can't even put into words. I don't even get it. Like, you hear about these things all the time, but when you really think about it, what he did to these girls, it's heartbreaking. It's still just, it makes me so emotional to know that this man did all of this to these girls. And police just couldn't confirm it. Look at all the people that confessed to, like, Jean Bonnet's murder or the Black Dahlia. So police didn't know if Ted Bundy was telling the truth about Laura Ann Amy. However, just last week on April 1st, 2026, bodily fluids left on Laura Ann Amy were a perfect match, the perfect match, DNA matched for Theodore Ted Bundy. So now the case is completely closed. The family has justice. Laura can now rest in peace because police know that Theodore Ted Bundy is in fact Laura Ann Amy's killer. And after 51 years, this is very good for the family to finally have the closure that they need. I watched the interview that Laura's sister gave police and reporters, and it was very refreshing to hear all about Laura because a lot of people like me, I wasn't around in 1974. I wasn't born yet, so I knew nothing about Laura Ann Amy. So for someone to come out and tell us what Laura Ann Amy was like was very good, especially for people like me. I liked the story about Laura playing jokes on people. She would hide and then jump out and scare people just to be funny. She loves playing with her younger siblings. She cared about her siblings very much. So she was kind of like a jokester. But the most heartwarming story that I heard about Laura Ann Amy was her love for her horse. She loved her horse very much and would feed her horse red licorice candy called nibs every single day. That was the horse's treat, and the horse loved Laura. However, when Laura disappeared, the horse never ate red licorice nibs again. Never. There was such a strong bond between the horse and Laura that he could not eat that candy anymore. And that just touched me in so many ways for just knowing Laura's love for this horse and the bond they shared together. So my heart and my prayers go out to Laura as well as her family. I hope y'all are all getting the justice that y'all finally deserve, and y'all can put closure to this case and know that Laura Ann Amy is finally resting in peace. Isn't it crazy? After more than 50 years, we are still hearing the name Ted Bundy. As a lot of you may know, when you ask people, especially people like me that are into crime, when you ask people, When you hear the words or the phrase serial killer, who is the first person that comes to mind? It's always Ted Bundy. Always. It's never the BTK killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, Eileen Wuornos, Derek Todd Lee. None of those people. It never fails. It is Ted Bundy. Why? Because he was so charming, so good looking, so nice, so sweet, so compassionate, very, very smart, well educated, a law student. No one would have suspected him. So of course, everybody was shocked when this murderer was in fact Ted Bundy. As we all know, Ted Bundy escaped jail, and in January of 1978, he broke into a sorority house where he murdered several women. Y'all, he was going into each room of this sorority house, brutally beating these women, like brutally. This man was insane. And in February of 1978, Ted Bundy murdered his final victim that we know of, 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. And this is when Ted Bundy was found guilty of Kimberly Leach's murder, and he was sentenced to death. And on January 24th, 1989, Ted Bundy was pronounced deceased when he was put to death on the electric chair. So a lot of people were very excited about that, and they were chanting, "Burn, Bundy, burn, burn, Bundy, burn," as he was being put to death in the electric chair in the state of Florida. Ted Bundy was an evil, horrible human being, and he took the lives of several young women. It is suspected he took the lives of 36 women. In my opinion, this is my personal opinion, I think there are a lot more women than 36 that we just don't know of. Who knows how many lives Ted Bundy took? But he took the lives of these young women when they were just teenagers in their early 20s. They had the rest of their lives to lead, and he took that away from them like it was nothing. So I hope that all of these families are finally getting the justice they deserve, and they know that their family members are resting in peace. My thoughts and prayers go out to all of the families. It just breaks my heart, completely breaks my heart for each and every one of those young girls. My final thought, I always give y'all my final thought, and my final thought is, I am happy that Laura Ann Amy has gotten the justice that she deserves, and now she could finally rest in peace. And I want to tell y'all something else. I do not think this is the last we will hear about Ted Bundy. The police are opening several unsolved crimes, and I do believe that these unsolved crimes, some of them may be connected to serial killer Theodore Ted Bundy. So I don't think his name will never be mentioned again. I think we're going to hear his name several more times as police unlock these cold cases. I also want to give a shout out to all the police team that helped solve this case. The police, the detectives, Ray, who found the body of Laura Ann Amy, and all the forensic people, DNA, just everyone that participated in this case. I want to say thank you, because of y'all, because of modern day technology and all the DNA tests that we can perform now, y'all have brought all this to light, and y'all are all solving these cold cases. This case from over 50 years, it just gives us all hope. And the one hope that I have, and I've had this for almost 30 years, is that police solve the murder of JonBenet Ramsey. I really would love that case to be solved. So hopefully that case can be solved one day, because it's been almost 30 years now. It's going to be 30 years this coming December of 2026. So once again, a big shout out to everyone that helped solve the murder of Laura Ann Amy. I hope after this video that y'all like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press the notification bell so you'll never miss a video from me, Anne Marie. And as always, stay safe, always be aware of your surroundings, and always know that I'm here for each and every one of you. And as always, thank you all for the love and support, And for you, I am truly grateful. I will see y'all next week with more Cajun Crime Queen videos. And as always, I love each and every one of you. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.